Hello, everyone, and welcome once again. It's Saturday that we get to come together for a great conversation today. Masterpiece conversation is starting. So, if you are on, I want you to tell someone, I want you to invite someone to join today's conversation. It's going to be an amazing time. You want to be part of it, you want someone else to be part of it. And I would encourage you to share the link for us and just tell a friend, tell them on WhatsApp, tell someone else, let them be part of today's conversation. My name is Tina Grace, and I will be your facilitator or your host today for Masterpiece Conversation. Hope you're doing well. Well, today we have the privilege of talking about a new book that is in town. I'm sure you've heard about it. There's been a lot of, good things happening with it already, and we want you to be part of what is happening in our world, especially for those of us from the other side of the world, right? So I want you to be part of it. I want you to know about it. But it's called Letters of Hope to My Younger Self, right? And why do we need letters? Why do we still read letters? Why do we still have stories? And why hope? And why to our younger self? That is all going to be part of the conversation that we have today. So, again, I am excited. I am thrilled that we get to chat with our author for one of the authors for today. Unfortunately, Zoe is not able to join us, but you're going to have a blast, right? Because let's welcome Lady Abba to be part of today's conversation. Hello, hello, hello.
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 Thank
Yeah.
you for having me, Lady Pastor Tina.
We are so excited, Auntie Abba. It's always a pleasure to have you. So, thank you for joining. I know Ms. Zoe wasn't able to join, but
No,
still, I think we're
it
going to
was
have
meant
a
to be
great
here,
time.
yeah. But I know
Yeah,
she'll be with us in spirit, so
I know, I know. She'll
yeah.
be here with us, just chiming along. So, we want to get started. I mean, I'm just going to read your bio briefly. A lot of people know you by now, but I just want to do the honor of reading your bio so that those who are new will get to know Lady Abba. She is an MA MBA LMHC, psychotherapist, and a transformational speaker, fervent mental health advocate, widely known for the Hope Monger, Reflections of a Hope Monger book. So, those of you who have been on Masterpiece for a long time, you've heard her speak to us about the Reflections of a Hope Monger. And she's also a celebrated author of that same book, and she has this amazing podcast that goes with it. So if you haven't signed up for the podcast, you get to have the opportunity today to sign up for the Hope Monger podcast, and driven by heartfelt mission to promote mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Abba works tirelessly to educate, inspire, and uplift people to fully embrace the extraordinary potential or power of hope in their lives. Besides her professional accomplishment, she is also a mother, a wife, a grandma. She's the latest grandma on this side of the planet, and she is great at it, right? And she lives in Central Florida with her family. Well, welcome, 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 Auntie
Thank
Abba.
you.
We are so
Thank you.
excited to have you, and thank you, Auntie Sheila, for joining. If you're joining, please make sure that you share with someone, share the link, and let someone else join us today on this conversation. Lady Abba, we want to get started. And like I
Mhm.
said, I think we know you, but every time you come, you have something going. So we want to hear from you yourself. Who is Lady Abba herself? And then we can get started.
Yes. So who is Lady Abba? I think first and foremost, Lady Abba is something she's coming to realize every day in little bits. She's a special child of God. And that
Wow.
is a fact that is moving from here to deep in here in
Mm,
every day, in every way. You know, it's taken me 50 something years, but I'm beginning to step into it. God is
yeah.
good, right? Uh,
Yes.
Lady Abba is a person who has a great sense of humor. And so
Mm-hmm.
everybody who knows me knows I like to laugh. I love to tease my loved ones. I love to see the funny side of life. That's just something about me. I love to tell funny stories. I'm a girlfriend kind of person. So I
Yeah.
love my sister friends. I love small, cozy groups of people. And in actual fact, what's maybe surprising is I'm actually not an extrovert. I'm somewhere
Mm.
maybe being married to an introvert for 30 years. I think I was in the middle. I've moved towards the introvert side a little bit.
I
That one is,
never thought you were an introvert, though.
oh, I am. I think that it's, these things, they're selective. So in my
Yeah.
small, cozy group, I'm comfortable sharing. Of course, I love to laugh and be loud, but generally, I think I'm more of an introvert. I'm a homebody. I love
Mm.
to read. I love to laugh. I love my family. I love to gather family. In fact, some
Yeah.
of my friends from 20, 30 years, they'll complain that I don't visit them, but they always come and visit me. And when you come, I love to host. That's one thing about me too. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
I love to host. I love people. I love the Lord. I'm somebody who God has um, brought me through so much. you know
Mm.
I'm so grateful for that, and this is what sets me on that mission. When you've found something good, when you've experienced something good, you also want to share that peace,
Right.
that joy, that love, that encouragement with others. So um, I love being a wife. I love being a mother. I absolutely adore being a grandmother. I can't
I
tell you.
know, right?
I cannot tell you. Every night, um, my son, he when he comes back from work, he bathes my grandson, and so it's
Wow.
a standing date. He'll FaceTime us, and if my husband's home from work, then we'll just be James talking to him as he's bathing and laughing, and so that's our quality time. So though they live 4 hours away, and we see
Wow.
them once a month, he's very familiar with us because he sees our faces and hears our voices almost every day of the week. So
What a
yeah.
gummer.
Oh, I love it. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. In fact, next week I'm going to go babysit. And I'm so
Okay.
excited. I get him all to myself for the weekend.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Lady Alba, it's a pleasure to have you. And
Thank
like we
you.
said, we've had you different ways in different capacities. Actually, this month we were talking about mental health, so we thought we were going to talk more about that. But this is a very important one because letters of hope to my younger self is also a way for us to check our own mental health. Because
Absolutely.
sometimes, as we are saying, mental health, we're just so full of regrets and things we wish we had done or things we wish we shouldn't have done, and all these things that really bog down on our mental health. So now let's start by talking about why letters of hope. We know about reflections of a hope monger, but what about letters of hope to my younger self? How did it come about? Let's talk about that.
So this was an idea that the Lord, it just came up like a water coming from springing from different places in the ground, you
Mm.
know. Um, Years ago, and I believe it was when I lived in Connecticut or just had moved to Florida. So the year would have been around 2007. My husband and I had an idea to do something similar, interview successful people, and we're going to call the book On Shoulders of Giants. Anyway, we never did it. It felt like the moment had passed.
Right.
Through the years, sometimes I'll think about it like, oh, the moment has passed, it's done. All right. Fast forward 15 years, I write a book called Reflections of a Hope Monger. My platform is Hope. Now,
Mm-hmm.
through this platform, I meet Zoe Baraka.
Yeah.
In fact, one day, uh, I became more active on social media because I was promoting my book. Then one day,
Right.
somehow, I clicked onto this page called To My Younger Self, and I saw this vibrant young lady with a striking hair and just a unique style, and she was saying good morning in different languages, and I was hooked. You know, I said, wow, you had me at hello. So I
Yeah.
invited her to be part of our podcast, and we formed more of a bond. And then she invited me to come on to my younger self, and we formed more of a bond. And then by this time it's 2001. That
Mhm.
COVID is raging. People's mental health is really in the toilets. So one day we decide, let's begin to do a series of programs called Brewing Hope. So we
Right.
got a few people, Zoe Baraka, myself, Elsie Dixon, Amma Duncan, the Fabulous Women's Network,
Yeah. Yeah.
Margie March, who's our publisher, and a young man called Elikem Aflakui. And we began doing these shows called Brewing Hope, talking about mental health in women, mental health before the holidays. And we got such
Mm,
great feedback. But I think what became apparent was that Zoe and I had a particular chemistry. You know,
mm,
we could sit and talk for hours. Anyway, in one of those shows, and in that particular show, Dr. Vivian Newton was part of it.
mm.
And then this idea that we both had, and Zoe had an idea, a similar idea. And then I mentioned that, wow, 15 years ago, I had an idea. So the people there said, you guys should collaborate. I see collaboration in your future. We
Right.
didn't, we didn't think anything of it. And a few months later, Zoe called me, Sister Abba, I'd like to talk to you. Then she pitched this idea, and immediately I was like, all right, I'm sold. I don't even have to go back and think about it. This thing has been inside of me for a long time.
Long time.
Time to bring it out. The title, my platform has been Hope. As a mental health, practitioner, okay, who does lots of mental health advocacy. Hope is so central to our
Mm.
mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health. So I've talked about it over and over and over again. And I think I'll talk about it till the day Jesus calls me home. I'll talk.
Wow.
Yeah. So when we got together, we said, okay, well, we know our platforms. For Zoe, it's about my younger self. For me, it's about hope. So why don't we, what form should we take? Okay, why don't we ask people to write their younger self? Okay, so working title, Letters of Hope to My Younger Self. We didn't think it would be the title.
Wow.
When we realized that, you know what, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And
Amazing.
yeah, the rest was history. It took us
Amazing.
a year and a half. Um, what we did was initially we weren't even sure how many people would listen to us and agree to be part of this project. But we sat down and we did some planning. We said, okay, we want at least 15 people, successful people. And I'll define later on what success meant to us, you know.
Right.
And we said, okay, we'll reach out to you. And we gave you a prompt. We said, you know what, if you want to be part of this, and please, it's a legacy project. We're not paying you. You are using your time, you are using your ink, you are writing the letter, but we're not paying you. Please, it's a legacy project. And they all said, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Right.
Wow.
Think about a time in your life when you went through a crossroads, when you made a mistake, a misstep, when you found yourself stuck. And knowing now what you know about life, write a
Mm.
letter, 300 to 400 words. We didn't ask them, we said, don't make it long, to your younger self. And so they wrote it. And because human beings are different, some wrote exactly, some wrote long, some did poems. So there was variety. And then once they were all done, we said, okay, now step two. We didn't also want it to be we're just compiling and sending it and making it a book. We wanted to also input. So we said,
Mm.
okay, the next step is we come in for an interview. We're going to ask you questions about your letter to try and maybe clarify certain things. But
Right.
also, for me, being a psychotherapist, I wanted to dig deep and like somebody extracting diamonds and precious stones from the ground. I wanted to pull out, you
Mm-hmm.
know, learnings. So they came in, Lady Pastor Tina, the 20 minutes for everybody was over an hour. We would have these conversations because that's how storytelling is. And the thing
Right.
about and a story is that a stories we that's why Jesus preached in parables.
Mm-hmm.
If I throw facts and figures at you, you'll forget. If
Yeah.
I put it with a story, you're going to receive
Mm.
it, process it, remember it, and to take action in you.
Right.
They would come in, and invariably, one story would lead to another, and another, and another. Before we knew what, oh, we have to go. It's been an hour. So here we are with 40 plus hours of footage, right?
Wow.
Amazing. But then the next step was probably the most tedious, where Zoe and I had to sit down. And you don't remember when you have 40 people, you have to actually sit down and study. So we sat down, we listened, we talked, we extracted information, we talked about what we thought the person was about and what people should put in the in the chapter. And then so we then would write an introduction, right, to the chapter. So that's how. So every chapter, well, most of them, we had to be flexible with some people. Most of the chapters have an introduction which we wrote, plus the person's letter. We also
Wow.
said to them, think Zoe came up with this term called governing life quotes, which is basically a person's mission or purpose that they've
Right.
carried in their lives. Think about a sentence or a phrase that your dreams, your aspirations, your everyday actions work towards that aspiration, that purpose, and give us what it is. And so they all came up, and so it would ask them, "What is your governing life quote?" It was amazing. It was the stories we heard, the things you don't know about people, the trials
Mm,
they've been through. Some of them we didn't print, most of them we did. The resilience they showed, the courage they showed. It was beautiful to see that thing within them. There was also something within them that has stayed with them through their lives and propelled them to greatness. It was simply amazing. This has been, in many ways, one of the most impactful years of my life. Just hearing stories upon stories upon stories. Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
Mhm.
Letters of hope to my younger self.
Yes.
Because so many things happen in life that sometimes we even think that it was just, one of those things that happened. But in hindsight, you can see it's all interwoven to where
It's
you are.
it's all interwoven, and I think that the power of writing to your younger self, because somebody asked the question, why not to your future self? And I
Mm,
agree, that's also a powerful exercise to do, because when you write to your future self, you are allowing yourself to dream,
true.
to envision, to step into that experience. That is powerful. The benefit of your younger self is that our younger self still resides within us. And in
Yes.
actual fact, when we go through difficult things, parts of this is not a crazy in a crazy way, parts of our psyche separate and become almost stuck in that place. So therefore, there are some experiences that will always impact you.
Right.
You have
Right.
somebody, maybe they grew up in poverty or they grew up hungry. They will never forget that experience, and it will inform their purpose down the line. You
Yeah.
know, so that's the power of the also to, if anybody, as a psychotherapist, it's not that I perform magic. Rather, I've been trained to look for patterns in people's lives, because what
Right.
you'll find is that based on those early hurts, those early mistakes, those difficult things you went through, those unhealed hurts,
Mm,
those situations in different ways, they come up in our lives over and over and over again. So if therefore something happened in your young life, you felt less than, different
yes.
scenarios will happen in your life where you say, "Oh, I feel less than." And you're not putting the two together. That's where my training comes in, to see the patterns. And why
Mm,
does God allow that? It's not that He wants to make us suffer. We keep on encountering different scenarios because it's about us overcoming, finally learning the lesson and overcoming. you
mm.
know so therefore, the issues that pop up in your younger self, are issues that when you overcome, they will see you through in regular life. And that's
And
what we
even
saw.
into your future self.
To your future self. One
Right.
of our contributors, she sent us an email, and I don't even, she's a major executive. I don't even know what it was she was going through, but all she said was, "You know what? I read my letter and I encouraged myself." And this was a letter from when she was 14 years old. She's now in her mid to late 40s.
Wow.
So whatever it was that was in her letter at age 14 encouraged her today. So that's the power of this thing. So not
Mm.
only are you sharing stories and empowering, encouraging other people, but you're also actually encouraging yourself. And that's what we saw after every interview. It's like we never prompted it. "Thank you. This was so cathartic. Thank you. What a great exercise. Thank you." They were thanking us, you know,
Wow.
thanking us. The contributors were thanking us. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. But Lydia, but I think you just said something that I think for us looking at even mental health is very important. So a lot of people who will be watching or who are watching now, and I see Gloria, you're on there. Hello. I
Hello,
see
Gloria.
Robert is on there. It's not too late to share the link. Do share the link as well and let people join. But as we are looking at letters of hope to our younger self, is it, I mean, something that we personally can also take upon ourselves and think about some of the
Oh,
things that we can say to our younger selves? Because like you said, our younger selves still reside with us.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Take a
Mm,
letter, and sometimes a different younger self will pop up. You know,
mm.
there was a time, I think if I had to write to my younger self, maybe I would write to my younger self around sixth form. You know,
Oh,
but there was a day when I was doing a show with Zoe. This is a few months ago about younger self. And that week, it was my 24-year-old younger self who popped up for me. And I know why. Now I know why, because I was about to make a decision without thinking it through. And I had done that at that age. That rather set
mm,
me a lot of without think, you have to really consider things before you take a decision, before you do certain things. And I was about to do it again. And so that younger self popped up really to warn me, you know what, take
mm.
stock. You keep on doing things to please other people. What about yourself? What about yourself? So that was my message for my younger self. And that was my 24-year-old younger self. I don't know
Mm.
how I knew that. And that's the beauty of this thing. But
Yeah.
somehow I knew it was my 24-year-old self that popped up.
Mm.
Without even having a necessary memory. And
Yeah.
this is not witchcraft, though. It is it is not craziness. It is understanding that the memories that we have, the experiences that we have, they imprint on our psyches in interesting ways.
They do.
And that is why, one of the famous philosophers said the unexamined life is not worth living. You must examine your life.
Mm.
Must, because that's
Mm.
why you go around the same problem.
Okay. The same pattern over and over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you change or unless you die.
Yeah.
I, for
Yeah.
one, I prefer to change. I don't want to die with some of my issues. Right? Yeah.
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 Well, Lydia, I think it's important to also see, for this project, looking at all these successful people that we will know when we read the book and say, oh, wow, this person is this, and this person is X, and this person, like they look all great and all put together. And to hear some of their stories,
To
I
hear some
think
of
that
their
is
stories.
so important for us because sometimes what we don't know is that another person's story is our story.
Absolutely, because the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun.
There's nothing new.
Now, you may see me in this moment, and my nails are done, my lashes are on, my makeup is done,
You
right?
look all pretty.
Looking all pretty. You are seeing one dimension of me.
One
You don't
dimension.
see how I looked 20 minutes ago. You don't see what I went through yesterday or
Yeah.
5 years ago or 10 years ago. So perhaps if you are feeling down on yourself, you may
Mm,
see me and say, "Oh, wow. Well, she has it all made. My
yeah.
story is very different from hers. I can't connect with that." But that's not
Mm,
true. It's not true. It's actually, I write in the book the imperfect, gritty stories. That's what people
mm,
connect. That's what people connect with. And yes, we all fail. We all make missteps. We all
mhm,
face obstacles. The world, things happen to all of us.
mm.
So in this compilation of stories and letters, you will find your experience in there, and you will be encouraged. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Anja, what are some of the themes that came up as you were talking to different people? Like, because we have in our minds, a lot of us think that, oh, for you to be successful, and you talked about successful,
Mhm.
what are some of the things that you looked at to come up with this successful group of people? What are some of the things that you're looking at?
Sure. So let me read what we wrote in here.
Mm,
So our mission was to glean life wisdom through the
mm,
personal stories of successful people. A successful life is a subjective measure, but our definition of successful person is someone who has purpose,
mm,
aspires to live a fulfilling life, is maximizing their potential to achieve their set goals, is making a positive impact on the world in a way that aligns with their values, has meaningful relationships. That's how we define successful people. And then we said they also have something called grit. And Lady Pastor said, maybe you've heard of grit. It was a psychological term that was coined about maybe 10, 15 years ago.
yes.
Grit means having passion and perseverance to still go after your goals, even though there are obstacles. Great
Yes.
means you have a strong work ethic. You
Mm.
know, great means that you don't give up easily. And then
We are
the
not
other,
just daydreaming.
you're not just did you are going for it, you are working for it. And then another attribute we found was great people. They don't mind going back into their life and be introspective, see where they went wrong, see where they were strong, see who helped them. You know, they also, what we found was that many of them, the younger self that came to their mind was at the cusp of their greatness. So when they overcame whatever obstacle happened to them in that season, they became basically unstoppable in
Wow.
going after their dream. And then we found that they also were eager to leave a legacy. See, these are not people just okay with the zilch of life. Let me
Mm.
make my money, live in my big house, and enjoy life. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me. And I'm not saying they enjoyed their life, but it wasn't just that. You know, they
Uh,
so when they heard it was a legacy for, yes, I want to leave a legacy. I want to empower other people. I want to make the world a better place. You know, since COVID, we are still all dragging. It's been 3 years now, but the level of mental health is not good. Add to
mhm,
that, you
mhm.
listen to the news, Israel, Palestine. It's scary.
There's so
Global
much
warming,
going on.
scary. And then you even in Ghana, the economy problems. Young people are coming up and feeling just as if, what is the point in all this?
Yeah.
So we felt like, you know what, let's inject some hope. Because what you never want to do is to part a man from his hope. You never want to
Mm,
do that.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow. So for those of us who are still, we still don't have the books. We have to get a copy of the books, and they're available everywhere books are sold. But for those of us in the US, it's Amazon.com. The same way you buy your stuff. All the things
Yes,
you buy on Amazon, you can get the book, you can get, is there a Kindle version?
there is. There's a Kindle version, there's
Okay.
a paperback, there's a hardback on Amazon. In
Okay.
Ghana, in fact, let me just post the link. I had copied it, but I think, let me just copy it again and post it right now.
Mm.
Um,
And Auntie Abbas, you're doing that. But I mean, we are thinking about how do we even use this book for ourselves and for others, right? Because sometimes one of the things that we don't do very well is that when someone has invested time in a book, which is giving you so much information, so much knowledge, so much inspiration to even continue your own journey. One,
mhm.
either we don't buy it or we don't read it. We buy it and we don't read it,
Oh
right?
no, this, please don't put this on the shelf. Oh, it's not good at all. Don't put it on the shelf. I keep saying that this week I just had this imprint, this stirring from the Holy Spirit, that this is actually not the end of this process. We've
Mm,
just given birth to the baby. Now it's about raising that child to achieve its potential.
right.
And that's where Zoe and I are now, is to move on and allow this book to do what it's supposed to do. So there'll be a study guide coming, just a brief study guide going to come, so you can look at questions to help you reflect. There can be
Mm,
going to be prompts for writing a letter to your younger self, so you can go through the exercise as well. And we're going
right.
to encourage you, don't just keep it for yourself. Send it to a loved one, send it to a younger person or even an older person. There's
Right.
no age
Right.
limit to this.
Mhm.
Send it to your alma mater to stock up a library, buy a couple of copies and do that, because there's the wisdom in here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
39 amazing people took time to
Amazing.
share their stories.
It
Yeah.
took time. And I think for those of us who are just going to be the beneficiaries of just getting the book and reading, let's talk about the amount of time and investment that has gone into it, because it looks very easy, Lydia, but you just snapped your fingers and then it came together. It looks
Oh
like.
gosh. When we first started, we even thought it would be easy. So when we reached out to them, we gave them, oh, we're hoping to launch in about, I think we gave them 2 months or 3 months.
Oh
And
boy.
then as we got more people, and as we really began to get into the process,
Hmm.
sometimes ask us, hey, so this is your project? I said, it's coming. It's coming, don't worry. It took us close to 18 months. It took us
18 months.
worked every weekday, 2 hours a day. We made that sacrifice. because we recognize that we also have to be in the same space, in the same place, discussing the same things, and then
Right.
writing the chapters together. you
Wow.
know. So there were so many steps. Working with 39 important people, you wanted to be able to get, send me your picture, send me your resume, send me your letter. Have you done this? Have you done that? So we had to be organized, because I think the other thing as well is that we reached out to the cream of the crop. Okay, we're not here to come and try and make as if we're disorganized, or we don't know what we're about. And also, to as we began to hear the stories, they were so precious, and we felt so privileged to be receiving these stories that we said, you know what, we can't play with these projects. We really, really, really have to really work on it so that it really comes out in the best possible light. We wanted to treat their stories with respect, compassion, point out their amazing strengths, and hopefully we did that.
Wow.
I'm very proud of it, of this. Yeah, Zoe and I are very proud. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So, I mean, for those of you who are on, I want you to check the link out. It's actually a very good, yes, and I like that, Gloria. Nice Christmas present.
It's
And
a nice Christmas
we
present. Yes.
we are committing to getting one for all our mentees for the mentoring program this year for Christmas. So if you're on, you want to also get one for a friend, for a loved ones, why don't you go ahead, click on the link, and then just go right on to Amazon and get one and read it yourself and also share with someone. You know,
Yes.
I
And if you
like,
want to get somebody in Ghana as well, you realize that among the links, there's a link tree link. Click on it, and the first one, if you just click on the first link, it takes you to a WhatsApp account. Give your order. They will almost like within 24 hours will deliver, and then you just pay for delivery. So it's as simple as that to get it to your loved ones in Ghana too. Yeah.
wow. And Tiaba, Gloria said something here. She said that those that you interviewed had strong work ethics.
They have
And
strong
I wanted,
ethics.
yeah, I want us to talk about that a bit. Strong work ethics, because a lot of us think that for success, you just have to daydream, just sit back, relax, and hope that your parent somewhere, your friend somewhere, your family friend will come get you from Ghana, somewhere else. Do somebody will do something, but you don't have to do anything. Is that how their stories went?
Let me tell you a couple of interesting stories. One of them, and I can mention their names now, was Lucy Quist. Lucy Quist
Yeah.
is this amazing woman. She's the current Blisco ambassador for Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first woman CEO in the telecoms industry, and she's now one of the, I think, a managing director with Morgan Stanley. She has a book called The Bold New Normal. She's doing a conference. I mean, to be able to get her was,
It's tough,
you know,
man. Precious.
it was grace and Lucy. So we made an appointment with her, okay, on the day of the interview. She wrote her letter of the interview. She comes exactly on time. She's wearing black. She said, guys, I just lost my father, and we're about to have a family meeting. I have goosebumps saying it, but your project is important to me. What you're doing is very important. I just can't meet now. Can we reschedule? But the point was, I have
She should
goosebumps
have.
even thinking about. She respected us. She didn't know us from anywhere. She could have just said, busy, reschedule. She respected us. So she stepped outside. In fact, the meeting was going on. The
Wow.
father had died 4 days before, and she's wearing her black dress, and she steps outside and says, guys, what you're doing is so important. I want, and seriously, within the next, I think 10 days later, she showed up for her appointment on time.
On time.
Time.
And that is something that that's why we need to buy the book.
And I
You
want to
know,
say something about her too. Another thing about her, I asked her to speak at the launch, and she did. And we actually did quite a good job staying on time with the launch, but we went a little far. And she had something else going on. She was, I'm really sorry, guys. I gotta go. And she had to go. She left. So as she respected us, she respected her other commitment as well. And she went on to that.
wow.
You know? So I'm not, could I even be mad? No. But I was rather even admiring,
Hmm.
because she says that in life, the thing is that you have time is what you have to bargain with. So don't
Time,
waste time.
time, time.
Talent. So employ it. That's what she says. That's one of the advice she gives. Therefore, employ it properly. So you
Wow.
know what? Also, another contributor. His name is Asan Kuma. He's one of
Yes.
Ghana's. He's the head of Ghana's biggest law firms in
Investment.
Ghana. He chose to write poem. He wrote poems about working hard and the grind. So as we're having the interview, I was like, hey, this man, he should say something different, small about the grind. So I said, okay, I tried to switch it up. What's your governing life quote? And he said something like something to do with the grind to do my work. And I said to him, every day when you go to work, what inspires you to get through the day? He says to finish my work. That's what it was. It was like, you see, it was part of him.
Yeah.
It was part of him. So no matter how we try to phrase the question, I came to do my work and to do a good job. Period. That's what inspires you to do my work. And then what makes you keep going to do my work well? It didn't change. It didn't change. And later on, when we show the video, you'll show my daughter Alyssa put together the video. And she was like, Mommy, you see how you can see the younger selves just evolve into the older selves?
Yeah.
There's something in us that remains in us.
Hmm.
Little person, whatever
Right.
they went through, as you heal them, they will propel you to be successful. Yeah.
This is such a good thing to learn. And that is why we have to get this book. Because a
Mhm.
lot of us are daydreaming. A lot of us are sitting next to our dream or holding on to our dream, looking at it every day and praying over it, whatever we are doing, but not taking action.
So true. There's one of our contributors, and he is also the chief operating officer at Morgan Stanley, based here in the States, right? His name
Mm.
is Peter Kwapa. He was an elite athlete and then he got injured. And then he ended up becoming an engineer and then an investment banker. But the point is, we asked him, he's very strategic. You just see the man and you see he's strategic. So his letter was about building your career is like building a house. So he talks about the
Mm.
roof, the foundation. Pepe. His letter was pepe. And then I noticed something. What's important to you? It says clarity, simplicity. Keep asking why until you
Right.
get to the basic. If you can't explain what it is you want, don't. And I noticed that when I send him a message, if you write plenty, he may not respond. If you ask him direct, you get a response from him. I was like, wow, it's not cool.
Wow.
So he's living that governing life quote. In fact, my husband did a lot of reading and he helped us a lot. He should have been a third author on this book. you know
Wow.
there was something I was saying, and my husband said, yeah, clarity and simplicity, that is this man.
Uncle
don't
Eddie.
don't
Yeah.
come and, no, I'm talking about even about this contributor. Don't come and start with plenty roundabout language. No, he will look at it and then leave it because you didn't make your point, and he doesn't have time to decipher what you're going to say. That's him. But when
Wow.
you are clear, concise, you know,
Keep it simple.
oh, I remember I wanted one of his photographs and I wasn't hearing from him. He was super busy. So I would ask, waiting, hope you're well, wait for the picture. Oh, nothing. And then one day I just went online, found a photograph. Can I use this immediately? Yes.
That's it.
But don't come and take me round circles. So it's so there's so much learning in these things,
Right.
time management, simplicity, work ethic, moving on from failure, dealing with, there's an amazing, oh my gosh, this guy, he's called Professor Elijah Pinsel. He was a professor at Yale in pediatrics and global health. And then he's recently moved to Boston University, another elite position. He tells a very vulnerable story about being moving from his mother's house to his father's house at around the age of, I think maybe he was 11, if I'm not mistaken. And when he moved, the father had a family. And so he had to contend with the fact, and even publicly, that he was the child of infidelity. And so, how do you explain? How come you are 11 and maybe you are 11? How does that, and how he had to encourage himself and learn to pray for himself and learn to believe in himself. There's some stories you're going to weep. Some
Oh,
stories you're going to cheer. Some stories you're going to wish you had more of it.
amazing.
But in every one of them, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something. The
You know,
number of elite people who failed or didn't do well and had to turn it around,
mm.
you know,
And
and some,
Antiab, I think that is something that we very much need, especially for us, a lot of us from certain countries and back home and all that. We need this type of almost like a revelation of
we
the
do.
lives of people, so that we don't just sit back and envy someone and say, oh, they are doing so well, whatever. Is luck?
Past
Is
points.
this? Is
When
that?
you see somebody driving in their nice car or taking a nice picture on social media, don't just sit there and say, oh, they were lucky. Maybe they were born into a good
Yeah.
place. One of the people, their story, and they're a top executive, but they talk about having to miss a whole semester of school um, due to because the inability to pay. And then
Mm,
their story was sitting under a tree saying, God, so what will happen? What will become of me? And my nephew this past summer was living with us. And so I let him read. I tried to give him a job to proofread, which in the end that didn't happen. But he read 3 essays. He came to me, Auntie Abba, I know this person, I know their children. I didn't know I thought they came from money.
oh yeah.
No,
Oh yeah.
no, you know.
No, I think this is really an important mindset shift, and that's why we need to push this book out. We need to get comfortable with people being successful by learning their journey, by seeing that our journey, where we are and we feel stuck, someone has
It's
been there,
not, it's not
someone has
so
turned it around, and we can turn it around. Just instead of just staying there, coming up with all sort of excuses and all the things we cannot do. This is a good living testament to say
a
that,
good
look,
living testament.
it's
And I
possible.
think what I love too is they mention their cheerleaders, the people in their lives who help them, who push them,
Yeah.
but you can't miss it that they had cheerleaders, that they
They
had to
have,
have a work ethic, that they had to have faith and believe,
yeah,
you know. Hey,
amazing. Well, Lady Abba, we are almost running out of time, so we're going to go ahead and just play the video and just continue from there, because it's important that we go through the video. This is really good. All right. So again, thank you for joining, Dr. V. I see you right here, and all the people who have joined that I did not see immediately. Oh, Ikwa is on there as well. Thank you all for joining. Yes.
Ooh,
Yeah, Ikwa the sister. So
sister. Hi,
anyway.
sister.
So for those of you who are still here, please send the link out. Let someone join. Even if they don't watch it right now, they can watch it later, but they need to hear about this book. They need to be prepared to buy it, share it. This is going to be our Christmas, gift that we give to people, to ourselves, and then to a lot of friends as well. All right, let's do the video.
Another 6 o'clock is here. Wake up and meet the morning dear. Brand new day, it's a brand new slate. Like Barack say, yes I can. Don't let the worries of yesterday hold you down on this lovely day. Well, look up in the mirror and say, yes I can. Open your face, open your face. Natengwa way, natengwa way. Tani mukwala kabo. Magana marekena blow. Natengwa we. Ubanyo fe. Magana marekena blow. Kani mukwala kabo.
Just do it, just do it. Just do it, just do it. Just do it, time is ticking. Just do it. Tired of lying to yourself yet. Don't you know you are your best bet? Who you waiting for? Who you waiting for? You've got all you need more. They will only help when it's convenient. Tell you all of this is for experience. She put no heart in your body and in your wild head. Just take a step and things will fall in place. Even when time flies, no one can catch it. So don't waste all your free granted. Your time is now, your time is now. Just believe it, say yes I can. Find your faith, find your faith. Not tell my way, not tell my way.
Kani mukwala kabo. Magana marekena blow. Natengwa we.
Find your faith, find your faith.
Magana marekena blow. Kani mukwala kabo.
Don't wait, the time will never be just right. Start from where you're standing now. Work with what you have. Work with what you got.
No one said it would be easy. Anyone that ever made it said it wasn't easy. Hey, well look up in the mirror and say yes I can. Find your faith,
Find your faith.
That's my way. Kani mukwala kabo. Magana marekena blow.
Stories,
Wow.
These stories, every time I see their faces, I mean, let me just.
I didn't know Fisher could run back in the day.
We didn't know either. But let me tell you, there's stories. There's stories. You gotta read it for yourself. Wow. Edith Bodo Ubakari, you know, um, her child dies. She's pregnant. She lives in England. She goes to Ghana for holidays, and then she goes into preterm labor, has a baby. Baby's in the NICU. Baby's doing fine, and she comes every day to feed the baby. One day, on the way to the hospital, she gets the sound that the baby is dead. Why? Because the particular feeding tube that the NICU is neonatal intensive care units, they didn't have it, so they used the bigger one. The baby basically choked to death. How do you rise up from that? But she goes up from that, and she now has a foundation where they educate. They go to hospitals around Africa, giving them supplies, turning that deep pain into. She's the most empathetic person you ever meet, and yet she's the top executive. I'm just looking at the Angela Ochi. For anybody who sometimes follows an account called Echi Olga, that's her pseudonym, her alter ego. She's this woman who, she's a 2-time cancer survivor. But she talks about having depression in her teenage years and attempting suicide 3 times, and she writes to her younger self. And says ironically, it's even getting cancer that cemented that will to live. And she tells herself, despite the depression, it's okay. You're going to, she just shares so much wisdom and love and light to her younger self. Wow. Let me just see.
Wow.
Hey, yeah, so many
So
stories.
good. It's so good.
Zoe's dad has a powerful, um, you know, uh, uh, um, story. And his saying is that he says poverty cannot imprison the human spirit. Growing up in where you had to live on share fruits sometimes, talking about the conditions into which he was born and how he was lucky through some almost, like, let's say, miracle. He got to be the only person in his village who was educated, right? And he says poverty cannot imprison the human spirit. So what? He's giving birth to his children. Among his children, you saw them. There's one who was at the book launch, has her master's in law. There's Zoe, who is doing great things. It's amazing. These people, wow.
Which is such an important, segue to the fact that your story is not done yet. It's not over yet. Like our stories are still in the formation. We are not
That's
there yet.
that's evolving. That is why there's
Yeah,
always wisdom from your younger self.
right.
Yeah.
And not to give up, not to just
Never.
get stuck and feel like I cannot. And
Mhm,
that's why you need a book like this on your shelf.
mhm,
That on the
mhm.
days that you feel like crying and you feel like you're so alone, you can pick it and just be encouraged that yes, it's okay to cry
Yes.
today
Yes.
because it's part of the journey.
Yes.
And the day you feel like you're getting somebody cheering you on, it's okay. You can get someone's story that also cheers you on and
So
keep
cheers.
going.
There's one lady, she's a development executive, works for the World Bank, travels extensively around Africa, doing things to alleviate poverty, with the World Bank, you know, went to an Ivy League. And she's very vulnerable, talks about a toxic relationship she was in that almost destroyed her. It wasn't even physical, it was mental, emotional,
Mm,
and she encourages her younger self. And she says, they say strong women are not supposed to cry, or strong women don't go through things like this. Well, guess what? Strong women sometimes do. So how um, amazing is it for anybody who maybe has had a difficult relationship and you're thinking, but what's wrong with me? Am I not clever? Am I not strong?
yeah,
Something? No, no, no. There's validation within the pages of this book and
yeah.
encouragement for next steps. Yeah.
So true. Well,
Yeah.
we can go on and on and on. I am so, so, so blessed. I mean, for us to be part of this book launch and, driving the success of this book. I know that we are going to, make an impact with this book and build a legacy, not just for, Abba and Zoe who have done their part of it, but for us all as we continue to learn from these people, and then we build our stories up and continue to also push forward so that one day someone will read our story to our younger self and also be encouraged. So that is what we do, right? Here at Masterpiece, we are so much interested in making sure that we walk alongside each other and make sure that we are all succeeding and we are all doing well. And this is one book that we need. So we are buying it for our mentees for a Christmas gift. I wanted to do one raffle, but I don't know what criteria I'm going to use, Diaba. Like, who is going to win? I don't know.
How about people share in the comments um,
A
just
short, a short summary to
a
their younger
statement.
self.
A statement. What do you say to your younger self
What would you say to your younger self? Let's do that. So
in the
if you
comments?
if you
And then
can if you can
we'll
do
close our eyes
that,
and pick one.
yeah, we are going to just choose one and buy one book and send it to someone who is going to
Yes.
share their younger self story. Well, how about that? So let's do
Yes.
that. We're going to get one book from Abba and Zoe, and we are going
Can
to
I
share it
can I
with.
type my own too? Can I win a raffle too?
No,
Am
no,
I
no.
excluded?
Unfortunately, no. You can type, but you can't win.
I can't win. Yeah. Yeah,
You are
because
disqualified.
like
Yeah.
a flame, we want this book to spread, not because it's bring fame and fortune to Zoe and myself, but honestly because we want to do something to impact this generation. We want to do our bits, impact this generation. So help us, buy something for somebody in your life, young, old, middle-aged. Buy it for them.
Yeah. So let
Buy
me
it.
let me type out the question. What
Mm-hmm.
is your short letter? Okay, it's a
No,
short.
what advice would you give to your younger self?
Okay,
Maybe
what
just say that.
advice will you
Give to your younger self in one sentence, maybe.
give your younger self? You see,
In one,
Lady Abba has already gone the thing down, so she's disqualified, right? To your younger self in one sentence. All right. So let's do that and let's get a book that we can share that you can read, and also buy it. Buy the book, read the book. Let that help you in your life journey, in your
Mhm.
story. Maybe you're at this crossroads, you think it's all over and done. Maybe you have to make a decision. Maybe you have to encourage yourself. Whatever it is a good time to just pick up someone's story and just let that speak to you so that you can keep going on your journey to be
And, and
successful.
and we wrote it so that it's easy to read.
Mm,
We wanted it to be the information to be accessible, in terms of interesting and easy to read. And I believe that we accomplished that. So it's easy to read. Pick a chapter and read any chapter.
that's a
You can
chapter.
start anywhere as the Spirit leads you, and just read
Mm,
a chapter at a time. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing. Well, thank you all for joining again. Like I said, today we are so blessed. So I see Adelaide, I see Gloria, a few comments. We did talk about some of the comments already, but
Hmm.
what we said is that, oh, we are very proud of you, Lady Abba and Zoe. We
Oh,
said
thank
that,
you, Sister Gloria.
you know,
Yes. Gloria and
very,
I
very
think.
proud of you, and congrats again. But make sure that you use the link. And I think Gloria said that the link is not working. We'll work on it and make sure that it works.
Let me
But
send it again. Really? Which one, Gloria?
I think she said the link is not working on my end. And I don't know if it's because it's the UK.
It,
Um,
sh- it should work.
it should
It
work.
should work.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can copy it a bit more, like break it out into
Break it up.
different.
That's how, yes, it comes all
Yes.
together in the thing, but yeah.
Yeah, so we may have to break it out so that it's easier
Mhm. I'll send
to
it to you so you can
link.
post it maybe in a
Okay.
comment. Yeah.
All right. So thank you all for joining. If you have someone in mind who did not join today, it's not too late. You can still go ahead and share the link with them and let them listen in, let them buy the book. Forward the link to buy the book with someone and let them also buy and share it and share it and share it. One of the good things about this whole thing is, think about it, we are all collaborating to make this book a success. So it's not just Zoe and Lady Abba, it's all of us collaborating, helping to make this a legacy project for all of us, right? That we can all continue to build on our story and do better. So
Yeah.
thank you again so much for joining. And we will
Thank
talk to you next week. Thank you, Lady Abba. Just a
thank you.
few housekeeping things. Next month, we have Giving Tuesday coming up, and we also have our fundraiser on the 11th. Make sure to join us because we do have some amazing prizes that we are going to be giving out. Look out on our social media platforms if you're not following us and get more information on that one. But we really, truly appreciate all the partnership, all the help that we receive from you. And we continue to know that, you know, together we can do more and we can go far.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed. And I want to say I sent you the links as well, and I'm
Okay.
just posting it again. And I checked them out as we were talking. They work. So, yeah.
Okay. Will do. All right. Have a blessed rest of your afternoon, your evening, wherever you're joining from, and we'll talk again. Bye.